Ben, you mentioned your first big punter. Now, you're well known in the UK for laying some colossal bets, including some eye-watering amounts at Cheltenham last year. But what a lot of people may not know is that Star Sports lay those sorts of bets week in, week out. How do you sleep at night?
Well, look, I would love to have a business like Bet365 or William Hill or whatever, where there's people having fivers on all day and they're betting on a casino and they win every day. But, you know, at this stage of my career, I can't compete with them. I can't have, you know, extremely powerful websites with betting through the night and you know, huge chains of betting shops and whatever else. So the way I compete is I take the bets off the big punters. I mean, it doesn't really make much of a difference whether it's Royal Ascot or Cheltenham. I mean, you know, something that's 6-4 at Royal Ascot, it's got the same chance as winning as something that's 6-4 at Ludlow. But we have a lot of big punters, and it's not really, you know, we don't take opinions. We play the punter, so we bet to figures and we bet to faces. We're not betting to opinions. But look, I'm happy to play big at the big meetings because you know, it's a very, very solid market. You can see a horse. It's been 2-1 all morning. It's been 9-4 for the last 3 months. Suddenly they contract these favourites as they normally do at Cheltenham and Ascot. You can lay 6-4. I don't think I'm going to do much wrong. And yeah, of course, look, when I'm having a bad run, I toss and turn all night. I've been taking sleeping pills since I'm 38. I think I've been taking sleeping pills for 20 years, nearly 20 years, tossing and turning all night. When there's a bad run, I think, when's it going to end? When's it going to end? All the last minute goals are going in, all the short heads are going in. But when you are a bookmaker on the track and you're standing on the pitch, you've got to say, who do you want to be? You've got to make yourself the person you want to be. You're not going to just be that person. And that first time when you're standing on the pitch and a punter comes up to you and they say $2,000 at 5-2 and they're going in the traps or they're going in the stalls or whatever, you've got to say to yourself, look, do I want to be Victor Chandler, Barry Dennis, Tony Morris, whoever, right? Or do I want to lay the guy a 10-4, knock him back, and then he doesn't bet with me again, and I'm just, you know, fiddling about? Look, everyone's got to do what suits them, but I think that the everything in your body says, don't lay this big bet, don't lay this big bet, this is dangerous to you. And then there's a voice that says, if you want to be Tony Morris, you've got to lay that bet. And then you say 5,000 a 2, ticket 82, and you've laid the bet. And you turn, you watch the race, it's like an out-of-body experience, you can't believe what you've done. Please God, the dog gets beat, and guess what, that's your new level. Then you'll lay it, then the next, someone comes in then for $1,000 at fives or $5,000 at evens. You've done it before, you're in the swing of it, and off you go. If you say no, you probably won't lay a bet that big again, because it's like falling off a horse and not getting back on. I think it's being a bookmaker is much more about what you've got here and self-belief that you're laying the right clients at the right price than about being financial. I think people confuse that. They very much confuse that. It's much more of being a bookmaker is much more of a mental than financial exercise.
So are there punters that you've had to wave the white flag at in the end, regardless of prices?
Absolutely. Look, on our spread betting a few years ago, we had a punter. He won over £2 million. And I fancied that I beat him, and I did. He knocked it out, and he's knocked a bit more out. Certainly not what he was up, but the figures looked after me then, and I bet to figures, and I thought, I'm going to beat this guy. I kept laying him, and he knocked the money out. But of course, there are big punters. I mean, at the moment, we've got a big odds-on punter. He bets odds on, he just bets 10 on, 12 on, cricket, darts, football, under 3.5 goals, 8 to 1 on, or whatever. He had a long winning run. He went about 850 grand clear. He's come south. He's probably 350 grand clear now. I think I'll beat him, but I've had other punters who've well beaten me, and I've thought there's something not right here. And I think that, look, I've had the benefit of a lot of good advice over the years, and old friend of mine, Mitchell, he said to me once, he a streetwise guy, he said to me at Walthamstow, he said, if ever you have a funny feeling about someone or a situation, it will prove to be right. And if I have a funny feeling, I listen to it now.
People always like to hear about absolute catastrophes as far as bookmakers go. What can you remember your worst ever week or day or bet?
Well, we had our worst ever week 2 weeks ago, and we have a big punter betting on football, and he was just about to pay his account. He was going to pay £1 million, and which is a big payment, and we caught him right. We'd beaten him on the sort of December football, and it was all agreed to pay £1 million, and I spoke to the guy on the Friday, and then we had I spoke to him before the Friday, maybe on the Wednesday. Then we literally had the worst 5 days ever, and on the spread betting and on the fixed odds, he won £1.5 million. So he went from being down over £1 million to being up. And that wasn't much fun. So, you haven't got paid till it's in the bank and it's cleared.
Well, as an employee, that's a little bit too frightening to listen to. So can you tell us about the best day or week?
Do you know something? I can't really. I mean, not because I'm trying to be evasive or anything, but I don't remember results. I never remember the names of horses. I never remember races. I never remember football matches. I mean, I remember we had a very bad football match on the spread betting to the big punter who went £2 million clear a few years ago. He won 450 grand on one match. He backed the corners, the shirt numbers, the bookings, all high, but he bought them all, and they all went crazy. There were lots of goals and sendings off and corners. But the best, look, there's been some great days at Cheltenham. I mean, someone once had 750 grand on a in-running football bet at 1 to 12. That got beat. But saying that, he'd had lots of other similar bets at those types of prices that had won. But it's not really about that. It's about keep going. The game is about whether you're a punter, you're a bookie, you're a trainer, you're a track promoter, whatever you do, it's about survival. It's about keep going. Let's have another go tomorrow. It's not about thinking about the best day or the worst day. Just keep going.
You've been quite outspoken on Twitter occasionally about both punters and staff. Is it tongue-in-cheek, or do you really mean it sometimes?
I think that we work in a game where people scream blue murder to their entitlements and their rights, whether they be a punter, a bookie, or a member of staff. And then once they've got their own way or that moment's passed, they then want to behave deplorably to someone else, and that's fine. I think that in my time in the game, I've always seen when punters work together, often with bookmakers, both parties do well. When bookmakers work together at the races, or even if they own shops in a similar area or whatever, they do better. But we do seem to live and work in a game particularly where people will say whatever it takes to get to break through, to get that clever business on, to get credit or whatever. they will then take shocking liberties, walk away feeling very smug and telling everyone how clever they think they've been, and then scream blue murder when someone doesn't roll over next time and let them get away with what they wanted to get away with. I would say that certainly as a bookmaker and a business owner, I've had rather a lot of punters and staff test my patience.
What is the best part about being a bookmaker and running a firm as big as Star Sports, and the worst?
Look, I think that there's wonderful camaraderie as a bookmaker when you go away to Cheltenham or you go to Royal Ascot, and you're with the guys and you're enjoying it and everybody's working well, the whole business, whether it be punting or bookmaking, you know, the shop at the track, the fixed odds, the pitches, it's working like a Rolls Royce, the pistons, it's all, you know, going round and everything's really, really at full pelt, but the business is working to its full potential. That's a great feeling to know that right across the business, you're really, really busy, and you're doing what your whole year is dedicated to do. Of course, you know, if you go to the races and there's a couple of short ones on the card and you get them both beat, it's a great feeling, and you've had a great day, and on you go for the next day. Always at Cheltenham and Ascot, we always seem to lose on the Tuesday, the first day. Those seem to be the punters' cards, and it's about winning it back. We always seem to win on the Friday and Saturday of Royal Ascot and Gold Cup Day to get out of it and win when we do win. And I think another nice thing is enabling people. It's nice to see, you know, a young lad out of school, 17, 18, 19 years of age, wants to attack the game, hungry, keen, wants to learn, wants to get stuck in, wants to go that extra yard every day to learn his percentages, to learn his figures, to learn how to clerk, to learn how the book is made up, to learn how to deal with clients, wants to look smart, wants to have the pitch looking smart, and wants to be part of the engine and push his bit as hard as he can. It's a great thing to really be able to enable a young person who wants to enter the game.
So you've already said quite rightly that there are a lot of obstacles for anybody that wants to try and emulate, for example, what you did. What would your advice be to anybody now that was determined as you were to become a successful bookmaker from scratch?
I think that people so often want to put up their own barriers and say, oh, I can't do it. And then when they see someone do it, they can be very jealous and nasty because you've proven them wrong. Not that you've tried to prove them wrong, but they've been proven wrong, and really they've realised it wasn't about money, it was about strength of character, time and patience and pushing to make it work. I really would say to anybody who wants to be a bookmaker, it's not about money, it's about, are they prepared to start that long journey of buying some, you know, winning a few quid punting, working hard on their punting, grafting out a profit with that money, buying a pitch or two. They're going to buy a good pitch, then they're going to buy a bad pitch. I would always say to someone, you're best off having one cracking pitch instead of 5 okay ones. You're best off having one really good shop in the right position than 4 mediocres where there's nothing that good there. It's the main thing I would say though is work with other people. You will meet so many people in the game. The game, you can't really say you're a bookmaker now. It's a bit like being a lawyer. 20 years ago, people used to say, I'm going to go and see the lawyer. But now, the law is so vast. It's like the game is so vast. Now you have bingo, online, bingo halls. You've got online betting, shops, credit betting, apps. You've got in running. You've got price providing companies. You've got people who provide websites and platforms for bookmakers. You've got compliance, that they're betting all over the globe now. The game is vast. Make lots of contacts, be nice to people, work with people, do people good turns, and things will come your way, opportunities will come your way, and the game will open up. If you give to the game, I'm always convinced the game will give back to you. And I would, if I said any other advice to a bookmaker, it would be patient, let punters come to you. When it's right, you'll be busy. When it's not right, don't try and be busy, because you'll give away prices or concessions, or you'll run after the wrong punters. Whenever I've not been busy is when I've really got myself in trouble. I've done it to myself. I've chased after punters who've then absolutely battered me, or I've pulled prices on a track to try and lay a horse, and I've laid over the price I should lay. Let the business come to you. When it's right, you'll do business. If you're nice and smart and you're offering decent prices, you'll take money.